Welcome to another episode of the Wandering Watercolor. Today we are working on the 6th page of the Cute Dogs Watercolor Coloring Book. It's a book that I make myself, all handmade. I use lithographs and high quality paper to make it. If you're here because you purchased it, thank you, I really appreciate that. And if you're interested in purchasing it, it'll be in the description. Otherwise, feel free to pause and sketch out the image that we will be painting and then proceed to play the video whenever you're ready. And with that, let's get over to the drawing board. So this is the image that we are painting today. It's just a cute little beagle looking up. It's kind of a 3/4 downward angle view. And the light is coming from up here going that way, just like in the last page that we painted. Now, as always, I'm using my palette. I make all my own paint. If you're interested in purchasing that, it'll also be in the description. I also have a little soap dish that I use to mix my colors onto it. Now, you don't have to use a soap dish. Any dish works as long as it's porcelain or glass. Honestly, pretty much any dish works. It's just that these are really easy to clean. That's why I suggest them. I also have a very cheap brush that I got from Walmart. It was in a pack. These are extremely cheap. You don't have to use a watercolor brush specifically. Any brush will work. This is why I'm using it, just to show that any brush works. I always have a scrap piece of paper, my rag, and then a jar of water here on the side. And let's get started. So the very first thing is we need to mix up some brown. So there's not a lot of color to this one, so it should be fairly straightforward. All the color is going to be on the back here. So all of this is going to be brown, the ear, the face, and that's pretty much it. Yeah, so this, and this. Yeah, that's it. And then we'll color in the eye and the nose and some shadows, but should be a pretty straightforward painting. Now the brown, we got some brown. We're also going to use a little bit of blue to kind of neutralize it. This brown is very orange leaning, so we need to just kind of make it a little more neutral so it's not so much like orange. And then we're just going to do a flat wash. The way we do that is we just go right in like that, like that. We're not adding any texture or shadows. We are just filling in, blocking out the color. So just like that. And then up here, just filling all of that in, just a nice flat wash. We're not doing anything more. We're just blocking in the color. Like that. And then around the eye. And then just kind of go slowly over here. And if you go outside of the line a little bit, it's not the end of the world. We're just kind of adding it in like that. Oh, and also a little bit over here on this side for the eyelid on the other side. And that is it for as far as like the color markings on to the dog. Actually, there is a little bit over here on the side also, like that right there. Okay, rinse our brush. Next, we will mix the color for the shadow. So all of this is white. And then we just need a little bit of color. Well, really it's more of a neutral color, kind of like a grayish blue, to show where the shadow is. The light is coming from up here, so we just need to kind of fill in this side. So we're going to grab some of the dark blue, some of the black, and that's actually good. That's what we need. We just need to dilute it with water so that it's not so heavily pigmented. I'm gonna use some water and kind of move over here to the side. So there's a lot more pigment here and there's less pigment here because there's more water. So we'll start off with using the side that has less pigment. And basically we're just gonna kind of fill in right there, like that. Down here, a little bit of suggestion of the hair or the fur, like that, like that, like that, a little bit like that, a little bit of that, underneath the leg there, a little bit like that. And then definitely underneath the mouth here, like that, and then also underneath like that. Now what we're gonna do is I'm gonna rinse off my brush, dry it off, and then just kind of go back in to soften up the edge just a little bit like that, and dry it off, and then do the same like that. And got a little bit out there. That's okay. Okay, I'm actually gonna do a little bit more of that, just softening up right there, kind of like that. Okay, that's good. So we've established a shadow on the lighter part of the fur. Next, we want to add some black for the nose. So I'm just gonna kind of dilute it a little bit. So we're going to add that right here. And also add black for the eyes. Now, beagles tend to have kind of like almost like eyeshadow, or what is it, eyeliner. There's actually a lot of dogs that have that right there, and also on the outside a little bit. There we go. Here, rinse off my brush. And next we will mix more of the brown color, except this time it's going to be a darker shade. That is definitely too dark. That's okay, we'll just grab more brown. And maybe a little bit of yellow ochre. Okay, a little more. There we go. I'm just gonna test this on my scrap piece of paper. That's too dark. I need more of that. Otherwise, it won't look right. No, we need more. Yeah, I guess there's too much red, it looks like, in this brown that I mixed previously, so I'm actually just gonna do a little bit of red right there. That's better. That looks better. Just gonna mix a little more water. Clear it off. Okay. So I'm gonna outline the ear first, like that. And then I'm gonna do kind of like a fold in the ear, like that. I'm gonna do a little bit down here. And just a little bit of a texture. A little bit for the hairs up here. Just a little bit, kind of like that. Like that. A little bit back here. And then around the face, like that. Up here, a little bit for the eyebrow. Give it a little bit of an upward slant. There we go. And then again, add a little more in the outline of the ear, going around. And then also this little patch right there. Okay. Rinse my brush. So that looks pretty good. I'm gonna let that dry. While that's drying, we'll go ahead and I'll use the darker part of the color that we mixed here. I'll actually add some black to it. Excuse me. And then we can go ahead and block out a shadow. Going in, filling all this in between here completely. Like that. And this. Like that. And then that. And there. And then just kind of dry your brush off and then kind of just drag it out a little bit as you press against the paper to help get that texture in. There we go. And maybe a little more over there. Okay, dry off your brush. Now we need to mix a brown for the eyes. It's gonna be a little hard. Basically just get a bunch of the brown, a bunch of the dark blue, kind of mix it up. Oh, that's actually pretty much exactly what we need right there. We're gonna cover all except the little highlight. So just be careful about the highlight. We'll go in a little later to do the black pupil. Alright, so that's good, and going in on the other one too. Just take your time, don't rush. Okay, rinse off our brush. Did not mean for that to rhyme. Okay, grab some black. And dilute a little bit of water So now what we're gonna do is, let me see how dark this is. Grab our scrap piece of paper. It's a little too dark. I'm gonna rinse some of that off. Okay, let's see now. Okay, that's better. So first I'm going to do a dark outline here for the lips. And up here. Okay, so that's good. And then go in right there and right there. Okay, so that looks good, but we also need to add the shadow on the nose. So basically it'll go like this, going down and just kind of going up like that. There we go. We will go back in and add another shadow in for the nostrils, but that's basically what we're looking at. I'm going to add a little more right there. And the top of the eyelid, a little more just like that. Okay, so that looks good. Now excuse me, this same color, we're going to use it to give a little bit of a couple of strokes here, short strokes, just to show where the fur is, and just emphasize some of the texture of the fur. And then we're gonna do a couple of strokes on this spare piece of paper, get some water maybe. Okay, now we're just gonna go in a little bit right there, just to emphasize some of that shadow, just ever so slightly, just a little bit. On the inside of the leg there. You want there to be variability in the shadow just because it makes it look more realistic and more interesting. It just gives it more depth, and which is how shadows are in real life. There's actually a lot of depth to shadows. Okay, step back for a moment. Okay, that looks good. I'm gonna rinse off my brush. We are almost done. Not yet though, but we're almost there. Go ahead and grab a bunch of black. So now we want it to be just as black as possible. We're basically using this like ink again. Just like in the previous piece. So go in right in the pupil, go slowly, just right where the pupil is. Perfect. And then adding in for the nostril right there. The other nostril, and a little bit of an outline, and here for the lips, and back here. Now I am also going to add just a little bit of an outline over here for the body, just to help separate it from the shadow. Maybe just a little bit of a texture there. Some strokes for the fur, a little bit of the leg right there, underneath the paw, underneath right there, and then same, and just a little bit right there. Okay. then go like that, and then a little bit right there. Also a little bit here on the eyelid. Okay, so I think we're pretty much done. But before we finish, I'm just gonna grab a little more of this brown, maybe make it a little darker, just so that I can put a little more of an outline right here for the ear. And right there. Cool. And that's it. I'm gonna clean off my brush. I'm pretty happy with how that one looks. Yep, I would say we're done. Okay, so that was a pretty quick one, actually. I think that's probably like the quickest one in the book so far. As always, let me know if there's questions. I love hearing the questions because it also makes me think about like how I want to explain things. Also, if there's any criticism, constructive criticism, please let me know. I like improving the videos and try making it more understandable and easy to follow along. So if there's something that is hard to understand or how I'm doing it, or please let me know and I will try to correct that. Otherwise, I appreciate you for painting with me and I will see you next time.